excited to talk to Tash Smith-Farrell today, known to me and many of you as Tash the Mindset Coach. And in fact, if you go to tashthemindsetcoach.com, that's where you can find her, especially if you are a professional woman who needs help with your mindset and getting, the goals, the life that you want. But I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to let Tash talk about it because I'm really excited to just give you the floor today. I know there's lots of coaches out there who are going to be thinking, oh God, either they're going to feel like, oh, meh, I just, I feel like I've kind of hit a wall, and it's great to see other people who are a few steps ahead. And I certainly know in my followers, there's a lot of professional women who could do with your help, Tash. So shout out to them. I know they're going to appreciate listening to you talk today. So welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So tell me, why did you create this mindset business?
I think with most things, we in businesses and entrepreneurs, we are our own first customer. So my background was a commercial artist and branding, and I truly thought for all businesses that was the answer, only to find that I was reducing my prices, I couldn't get paid, I was frightened of going live, all of these things, and realized that they are mindset issues. And so the way when I did things in my own business, and then other people came to me and went, who did that for you? Can you do it for me? And I was like, yeah, I'll do it for you. And so it kind of went down that route. And then when I started networking online, which was also out of my comfort zone, I just felt like I was going first. And then there were a few people who'd be like, asking for a friend. Do you deal with this problem? Or, and some of them were asking for a friend. Lots of them are really asking for a friend. And then I started to notice I was attracting quite a few professional women. So I'm a creative, but they were in very senior, demanding positions, and they have rules to stick to. And a lot of coaches that I was seeing were like, screw the 9 to 5, tell your boss to get stuffed, you're under new management, set up a business. And I was thinking, well, most of these women are really passionate about what they do.
Yeah.
They just need a bit of help to reframe how they get the results that they want. And a lot of it was to do with them getting recognition, not working 24/7, reclaiming their weekends and their days off. So that was kind of, that was a very long answer to quite a short question.
No, not at all. I mean, that is so interesting. And I love that you've taken your experience from before and you use it in such a wonderful way to help your clients. So, why did you go out on your own in the first place? Are you a bit like me, an entrepreneur at heart?
Well, as a creative, it was a bit like, it was less restrictive by going out on my own, because then I could make the rules up as I was going along. And also it meant I could change lanes, which isn't always helpful, I have to say, but it does give you a very wide and varied experience that you can then bring to the table. And I believe that the biggest, most powerful element that we can all have as humans, but also especially as solopreneurs and as people in demanding positions, is imagination. Because if you can imagine it, then it is possible. Your brain is already kind of like, well, I can see that it could happen. And just as a caveat on that, the amount of people go, oh, well, I'm not visual, so I wouldn't be able to visualize something. if you can imagine, if I say to you, imagine a black cat, no, don't imagine a black cat on an orange rug in a purple room. If you can all see that black cat on the orange rug in the purple room, then you are visual. You can do it.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true, isn't it?
Yeah. So I just come at it at a different angle, and it's still following the rules, but it's not about rose tinted glasses on, oh yeah, your job is shit, and I'm going to make you think it's wonderful. I help you reclaim the passion that you originally had, that kind of gets a bit tarnished when you're not getting the recognition or the rewards that you're working really hard for behind the scenes and nobody seems to be noticing.
Oh, honestly, I just know you can help so many people. There are just so many, former colleagues or people that I've worked opposite that I can just imagine, could do with your help. I absolutely believe in that. So, what then made you chase this dream? Like, what made you go, okay, this is the thing that I need to pursue the most?
I think my clients, the ones I'd already had and was working with and getting results with, when I started to see, because before I was a coach, I used to think, oh, well, having a coach is a bit just like having a good friend. But the difference is your friend's job is to see the best in you.
Yes.
The coach's job is to help you see the best in you.
Oh, that's great. And that is so good. Yeah.
Big, wasn't it? For what I just made.
I like that one. Put that on your social media, Tash.
Tagline.
So good.
Yeah, it's kind of, and so when they started to get results, the amount of my clients that say, I to begin with, I thought you wouldn't be able to help me. And really, that isn't their lack of belief in me, it's their lack of belief in themselves. Because they think, yeah, I'm this, special snowflake that you won't be able to help. And to begin with, I think, gosh, I have promised them that they're going to get the results. But then just after a couple of sessions, you're like, you're totally getting the results. And in fact, there was one of my clients who this week, I've paused her. She's still got 2 sessions in the bank. But I said to her, at the moment, I think we're showing up as not really coaching, you're just catching up with me. And I said, I don't think you need my help at the moment. So I said, we've got 2 in the bank, but she's worked with me for nearly 8 months.
Yeah.
And when she first started, because the beginning of working with anybody, it's 3 months, so 12 sessions. And then after that, we kind of see, and I know by then they've either got the results they want and it's like, thanks very much, we're done. Or they think, great, I've got these results, I now want even more.
Yeah.
And the place that she has got to now, she's got promoted, things are awesome. And I know that she will be coming back. Well, obviously, because I owe her 2 sessions, but she's coming back when things get really demanding for her again and overwhelming. And I said, you'll know when it's time to come back. And you've just got this in the bank. And then we'll just assess again, just like we did at the very beginning. But when she first started working with me, she was thinking, I don't think I'll need a session every week. I said, well, we'll see. And then you can decide. And yeah, she's even said today it's changed her life, which is really humbling to hear. That's amazing that I was on the journey with her.
Yeah, gosh, that's such a great, it's such a great skill to have. It's such amazing feedback, to change somebody's life in such a positive way, especially when I imagine that it has come from personal experience. You know, I imagine that, you know, you are helping people to improve their life because you saw the benefit of mindset coaching for yourself. Can you talk to me a little bit about that maybe, and you know, so that I can and other people can understand, because maybe there's somebody out there who doesn't quite understand what a mindset coach actually does, and maybe you could just tell them why it is that because you had so many successful careers and you had so much skill, that you could have done anything. But I know this story, but I want you to tell people why it was mindset coaching, like why that is the thing that you went, oh, this is it.
Well, I jumped ship a lot and kept thinking,
we all do.
This is definitely the thing, and I'm going all for this. So I do go all in on things and truly think if I give it 100%, it'll work out. And then things kind of hit the fan quite a lot. He's now 15, but he was 5. My big boy Oscar, he was misdiagnosed with epilepsy after a brain scan.
Wow.
And my world pretty much caved in. I had his younger brother who was 4 months old, and Milo, and he wasn't sleeping, and I ended up getting I had adrenal failure and nearly slipped into a coma. There was it did feel like life was spiraling the wrong way. And first of all, I had to really dig deep I'm not a medic. I Googled the shit out of it and found various other possibilities of alternative therapies. And they all worked to a certain extent, but as it was, Oscar, we repaired his gut flora with probiotics, and within 1 month, because his brain was freezing, within 1 month, his brain freezing stopped.
Wow.
So that was, but at the time, it was everything, I didn't have time to have a meltdown because I was, damage control with recovering from pneumonia as well. I was also trying to repair Oscar's gut flora and find out what was going on with him. And also I had a 4-month-old who, that was very demanding too. And wow. I felt really under pressure to look like I was living the dream. Yes, I had a baby, and it was also, I was a commercial artist, so I was creating paintings for commercial spaces and showrooms and things. And I saw I think it was a sign on a bus, but I and then saw a note on a book, and it said "Choose happy," and I was kind of like, if only I had the time. Choose happy.
Yeah.
And it kind of, in a reverse, ironic way, helped me really then see, right, have I chosen this spiraling? Because I was so focused on what wasn't working that more things didn't work. And I was, getting to the point, I was like, really? Anything else? And then when I started, I read loads and loads of self-help books, just wherever I could get my hands on information of how you could focus on something better even when things were dreadful. That's when I started to see, and when I say about how powerful imagination is, once I could almost see that things could be better, remarkable things do start to happen. But the only way you can get that moving, the belief moving, because people say, well, I won't believe it until I see it. And it is a bit of a chicken and egg situation. Like, you can't believe something that you can't see.
Yeah.
But if you don't believe it's going to happen, you won't see it. So it's a bit like trying to push and get momentum out of a parked car. But once you get it moving and just kind of think, well, what have I got to lose? I'm going to give it a whirl. I mean, who would have thought that just giving Oscar probiotics and prebiotics was going to repair his gut flora and stop his brain freezing? Like,
Amazing.
and it was a doctor in America who spoke of it, and I just found a transcript of one of his lectures, and so I thought, well, that was pretty incredible.
Yeah.
You know, that change literally changed his life. So I thought, well, what have I got to lose? I could keep collecting the shit that's hitting the fan here, or I could just think, right, enough.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna try and, because in fact, a lot of my clients who come to me, their life isn't a shit show. It's not a disaster. It's just they've fallen out of love with where they're at. And they're like, I thought it would be better than this.
Yes.
And so then for them to sort of, I mean, this client I was referring to, who said it was life-changing for her. Her life wasn't a nightmare. It wasn't a horrible nightmare. It was just, she thought by now she worked really hard. She was super diligent. She was quite a please people. And so she wasn't getting the return on her investment of giving up her days off.
Yeah.
Working all her weekends. She's got young children too. You know, she was missing out on valuable time with them. And yet she thought the only way to get promoted or to stop working on her days off was to suck up to the boss. And I'm like, well, as long as you believe that that's true, nothing is going to change, because you don't want to be the suck up.
So
Now
true.
she's getting the results she wants without having to suck up, because I mean, she reported it like the news, a bit like how I just did, you know, my whole, you know, pity party of everything that was going on. That was my reality. And I wasn't willing to. So when I saw this choose happy, it was kind of like, have you seen my life? Poor me, poor me. You know, so it kind of, I think we only, it's a bit of an injustice, but we only get to tap into how resourceful we are when things are really at rock bottom.
Yeah, true.
And then we kind of start, you know, you hear about mothers picking up cars to save their children. It's kind of, you know, you only get to be super powerful when you need to be. Because if you're just going through all the green lights, you don't notice them.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, life's great. It's only when you get the red lights, you're like, oh, I've got to stop and have a look around here. So yeah, that was kind of, so now when I see choose happy, and in fact I even have like a little, well, I'll find it, I have a little book. It is choose happy, and it's kind of my little up yours to me when I was back then, like, you did choose happy.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, it is always 50-50. Even when you work with me or someone like me, it is still going to be 50% nightmare and 50% awesome.
Yeah, that's just life. You can't
Yeah.
control what
No,
happens.
exactly. I don't turn my clients into robots. Yeah. We're not suddenly Stepford women just because they've worked with the mindset coach.
So true.
Not.
So, like, you've such an amazing story. You have such life skill. You've such empathy. Like, who do you help most? Like, who do you go, oh, they're the people who need my help?
You know, when I said I was trying to make it look like I was living the dream and everything was great, they're the ones.
Yes.
They're the ones who are trying to keep up appearances, trying to hold everything together, and they are utterly miserable, but they've got nobody to turn to, even their best friends, because they've done such a great job of Brady bunching the whole thing. My life is fine. Like one of my dearest friends, she knew how bad things were by how wide my smile was. Like, oh
Oh,
my God, things that bad, Tash. And I'm like, don't even ask me, because I'm gonna suddenly be reduced to tears. So don't ask me, I'm totally fine. And she's like, oh my God, you are that fine. You know, and so they're the women that are, like I said, it doesn't have to be a complete disaster zone in all areas of their life. But if they improve one bit that they want to focus on, it's inevitable. It filters into everything else. I mean, I'm kind of a secret weapon for a lot of my clients. They don't advertise the fact that they're working with me. And I don't either, obviously. I'm not going to go, oh, you're one of my clients. You know, it's all. But then their colleagues say, what are you doing? Even their husbands have said, you're in a really good mood all the time. What's going on? Because they just feel more in control instead of pretending to be in control. I think that's the thing. So it's just a real weight off when they can just say, this is what I want. I'm pretending I'm happy with this, and I'm not. And I'm like, cool. Now we've got that out of the way. Let's get what you want.
Oh my God, you've just led me to my next question, because I was going to say, like, you know, what happens after they start to work with you? So, like, you know, I'd love for someone maybe who's watching, who's like, gosh, I wonder, like, what, you know, what changes to expect, like what to expect if I work with Tash. You know, what do your clients say starts to like, if they do talk to you, which I'm sure they do, about what starts to change? What do they say?
They start to value themselves a lot more, and then it becomes inevitable that other people value them more. And I always say to them, it's not, you can't believe you're more valuable when people tell you you're valuable, or start treating you better, or promote you, or give you the reward that you want.
Yeah.
If you're still here thinking, oh, well, they're only giving me that because they think this. Whereas if I get them believing that, then they're like, yeah, about bloody time. Brilliant.
Yes.
You know, they kind of, their expectations have been raised of what they're worth. And I know that, you know, self-worth is like, oh, that old thing. I thought we'd all dealt with that. But it does keep coming up. You're like, ask me how I know. It does keep coming up.
And it comes up
yeah,
all of us,
it's
doesn't
a
it?
work in progress.
Yeah. It's like, honestly, it really is. You know, I learned many years ago, you know, in how you tell a story, even, like, you know, when things go wrong, or you might be worried about how you're going to reflect something to a superior in work, you know, they'll take your tone, they'll read how you read it. If you present it as, well, this happened, but it's not a big deal, and like, we handled it, then that's exactly what they hear. You know, and if you're like, oh my God, this happened, and this is what we did, well, then you're going to panic them, because it's all in, it's all in here, you know, isn't it?
And also, it's with the mindset, every circumstance, our brains are meaning making machines. So everything that happens, we decide in our brains why it's happened, or what, or even what has happened. You know, this person's done that, they mean this, that means they hate me, that means they love them, you know, whatever it is, they've given that person the promotion, that's because they think I'm invisible. And a lot of that is just story, like you were saying. It's like how what the narrative around it is. And so the mindset, I don't suddenly reprogram people's minds, I just help them tell a different story.
Yes. Yeah. Honestly,
That feels better, so that it kind of drives them forward. Because the other thing is, as women, we mostly solve problems through action. If I do this, and if I do this, and if I do this, and we haven't really got time to stop and if we think for too long, we're just, it can kind of send us into a spin. And when I say we, I just mean me probably and some of my clients, but like not all women. There's be some women watching this going, I never do that. But if we kind of try and change things through the action of all the action that we take, but we don't change the thoughts that are driving the actions, we will still get the same results.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the difference. So I don't demotivate people. I don't stop them doing things. But I get like, why are we doing it? What lens are we driving this machine through? How are we looking at it?
Oh God, it's honestly, it's so good. So do you like, is there a common issue then, do you find, with your clients? Or is there a common issue where the people that you attract as clients tend to come to you with?
Not getting paid or discounting their services, because I didn't realise that even lawyers have to quote on prices. I thought in a law firm you would have someone who does that for you. No, they have to quote. And a lot of them underprice themselves or say a price and then go, but you probably can't afford that, so it'll be this price to you.
Oh.
Yes. And so money is always a big thing. Even if it's not the first thing that they talk about with me, we're like, okay, we're back to the money thing. They sort of wait for a little bit and go, but I'm not really that bothered, but could we talk about money? Like, yeah, love talking about money. It's just energy. But that and the work-life balance is a real biggie that most of them come to me, because I've had adrenal failure, and I know that if you wait till you're in complete meltdown to start thinking you're going to learn to meditate, it's almost way too late, because you're in the middle of the storm. And at that point you think, I haven't got time I just need it fixed now.
Yeah.
And so some of them are anticipating that things are unraveling, and it usually starts with things like they're overworking because they want to be noticed for all their hard work and rewarded. And they think, once I work through my weekends and my days off and work late, once I've done all of that and I then get to the more senior position, I can then go back to not working on my days off and have my weekends back.
Yeah.
But actually, they've kind of already set the tone that this is how I'm going to be forever and ever, and I'll just sacrifice my life now. Because by the time they get to the more senior position or the more demanding accounts or whatever it is for their specific workplace, once they get the more up the hierarchy, up the tree, the expectation is they are going to continue at the place that they've already been working.
Yeah, so true.
So I just help them reaffirm what it is they want to do. And in fact, my client who I've been working with for a while, she had said like it was a big deal to her about her days off, but she believed, I have to work through my days off because this isn't this. There was all these reasons why she had to. And then we actually realized, had a conversation about how she was shortchanging the firm and her clients and herself by working on her days off.
Yeah.
And once she could see, then it was like quitting cigarettes. She was like, I don't smoke. I don't work on my days off. That's it.
Yes. That's a great analogy. Well, I think I know the answer to this, because I feel you're going to say you love working with your clients. However, I'm going to ask.
I've got to say something else now, haven't I? Whatever it is.
What part of your business do you love the most?
Yeah, my clients.
I knew it. Yes.
Because I'm not going to be a better lawyer by working with lawyers, but I find it so fascinating, because they'll, in all the different professions that I work with, they tell me issues that they're having, and because I'm a creative, I'm like, oh, is that how it works then? And because they're telling me how it works, they hear it out loud, and I say it back to them. I go, is that really how it works? And they're like, no. I'm like, oh. And I'm not trying to be clever. I'm just like, oh, I didn't know that's how it worked. And they're like, no, it shouldn't work like that. Yeah. We have a lot of fun. It's good.
That is brilliant. I love it. Yes, it is great to be to have the ability to be a mirror for people, and have that objectivity, isn't it? I think,
well, because there's no conflict of interest. I'm not competition to them, so it doesn't matter what I say. They're never going to think, oh my gosh, she's going to come and work at my firm.
No. Yeah.
I do what I do, and I just get them to see that they're amazing at what they do.
Yeah.
Such a lovely. That's like giving people their promotion and their pay rise. In a, it's like, here it is. You've got it. And they're like, oh my God.
Yeah. And then once they can imagine it, as you say, then it just makes it so much easier. It's almost like it makes them feel, well, why not? I have it. Like, there's no reason not to get it, so it is that belief, isn't it? It's just,
things are there for the taking.
Yeah. Oh, Tash, honestly, what you do is so amazing. Okay, I've asked you what you love. So what do you hate? Again, I feel I know the answer to this. What do you like to outsource? Like, get it out of my, I don't want it.
Well, as you know, I did not want to be on social media. I was allergic to social media. And Elaine, you were like, I'm going to say this again, Tash. You need to be on lives. You need to do reels. I was like, I'll do anything. We'll just get a body double for that. I'm going to do anything. I'm not going to do that. And I fought it, didn't I? Because you were like, it really is the answer. And I was going, I really hate. And so all the other work you gave me on the marketing thing, knowing about my ideal client and knowing where to show up and stuff, I was like, tick, tick, tick. I know how to do all of that. But the other stuff, I was thinking, maybe Elaine won't notice that I'm not going to do maybe, the world will change and, we won't have visual internet anymore.
In Ireland. I know, but you underestimated my level of stalking.
And in fact, what you really did nag me and hammer home to me, and it's only very recently that I have started to do it, and I cannot believe, I suppose it's a bit like with my clients, I can't believe the results I'm getting. It's night and day. Yes. So I'm here.
I always say, geez, how often do I say this to you? But like a plumber and their plumbing, a mindset coach, just a mindset around like showing up, but like people, especially with coaches, they are buying you. So they need to get to know you, don't they? I know, like, it's different from how we used to deliver coaching, because quite often, before COVID, you would go to somebody's office, for example, not always, but, sometimes. Whereas now you really are, like, you're on screen, so I think they have to get a kind of like a little miniature flavor of you, don't they? But I honestly support, as I totally support outsourcing the part that that sits all around the bit where you present yourself, for sure. So I completely understand why you outsource it. But I
also we're natural. If we're visual people, we're natural curators of how we want things to look. And even when I was a commercial artist, you would deliver a space for them and you could tell if they were like, I didn't know it was going to look like that. I used to hate doing commissions because of that, because people were like, I didn't know it was going to look like that. So I felt like I had to mind read. So I became a mindset coach. But and the thing is, when somebody is doing your social media for you, you already know whether you like what's being put out there. Even if, and this is ask me how I know, but me as an example, I was like, I hate social media. I don't want to be on it. I've got no, wake me up when it's all over. I don't want to do it. Someone else do it. But then I did have one company doing it. I was looking, thinking, oh no, that's not what I want them putting out there for me.
No.
And so then, it doesn't matter how well you explain it to someone else. It really is, you have to do it. Or have a team of people who, can retake and re-edit and everything that you're already doing. Fine, do that. But
yes. And look, the thing is, like, once you have the strategy, it's so much easier to brief in, it's you get much better results for sure. Like you are. So tell me, for new businesses out there, what advice do you have? Like, is there a little pearl of wisdom that you would share with someone starting out?
You can do all the market research in the world. But if you, first of all, start with something that you really know how to solve, usually something you've solved for yourself.
Yes.
And then find out everything about it you possibly can and solve the problem really, really well for yourself. So then people will say, who did that for you? So I used to do branding, which was kind of an occupational hazard because I kept changing businesses. So I just kept redoing a brand. But I was doing, I was a home stager, I was a commercial artist, I was a brand designer. And every time my branding, there was companies saying, who did your branding? And I was like, oh, I did that. They were like, can you do ours? And I went, yeah, of course. Yeah. And so it was if you get to do something, do it really, really well. My branding wasn't the best in the world, but it was good enough to attract good enough clients who wanted me to do it for them. You only have to be a step ahead of some of these people. And by being your first client and serving yourself really, really well, whatever that is, like, there's no point being a health energy coach if you're talking to people and you're utterly exhausted, because you're your advert. So people just think, oh my God, people want to look at you and go, oh, what's she on? I want that.
So true.
And if you're your personal stylist, don't go up to people and go, you look awful, I could help you with that. That's the other thing. I am getting a lot of people, not personal stylists, I will after this, but I get a lot of people in my messages, direct messaging me, who say, hi, can you connect with me? And I'm like, oh, they could be asking for a friend, or they might be asking for themselves. So I'm like, yes, hi. And literally the next message is, I help coaches, I help mindset coaches, or I help career coaches get clients or do social media better. And so they might as well have said, you look horrible, you're doing it dreadfully, we'll help you. I'm like, I don't go up to people and go, I think you're nuts, I could help you with that.
Yeah. No, at least wine and dine me first,
Yes. I'm like, oh my goodness, we
haven't even gone on a date yet, for God's sake,
me already.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So tell me, speaking of DMs, what strategy works for you when you're looking for clients? What strategy are you like, oh, I love that?
I don't know if I love it, but I know it works. What we were just saying is the showing up.
Yeah.
And I mean, Stacey Bayman, who's a coach that I was in one of her programs, her thing was meet loads of people, tell them what you do, make offers to help them. That's literally her business model.
Yeah.
And so it's about being in as many places as possible and saying what you do in as many different ways as possible. And then if you comment on somebody's post, not because you're trying to slip into their DMs, but you're, genuinely go, that's interesting. If they are interested in what you have just said, or they're like, oh, thanks, they will look at what you do and go, oh, she does that. I actually could do with somebody who does that. Or she does that. My sister could do with someone who does that.
Yeah.
And that is way more effective. And fight it as much as I did doing the videos. To date, this is my third video and my first ever live.
Yay.
And yet my business is online talking to people like this.
Yeah.
Here's how I do my business, but just not in the big wide world.
I know. But honestly, how comfy is it? Like it's, it's fine.
You can't see people disagreeing with you here. It's nice.
No. It's not true. It's not true because you've so much to share. And I just feel that so many people need to see people offering their services in a different way. I think the more, particularly women, who stand up and say, well, that was the container that I provided that service in before, but actually there's another way that you could do that, then I just feel we need to demonstrate more for people just the possibilities in life that, like you say, you don't have to give up everything, like you can have life doesn't have to be what you saw your parents do or what you watched in the movies, or it can be like, for example, I had a careers teacher who basically used to say, teaching, secretarial, do good. Why don't you go and do a typing course? And you just be like, what? One of my friends became a petroleum engineer, like, boom. Like she, there's so much potential out there for women. I feel we owe other women a duty of service to show them what else is possible, Anyway, rant over. That's why I love seeing you sharing the possibilities and showing up online and sharing your message. I freaking love it.
And actually, just on what you were just saying about what other people do, a lot of what my clients do and what I did was get stuck in comparisonitis.
Yeah.
And to the point it would just paralyze me and does paralyze my clients, because they think, well, I can't do that because she's already done it. Or I can't do that because I'm not as good as her at doing that, or people don't like me as much as her, or she's thinner than me, or she's taller than me, or pretty, or whatever it is.
Sure.
And it's a really helpful thing that if you see something that you want that someone else has got, it's quite a good indication that your brain is going, that's what we want.
Yeah.
Well, that's just a bit like a goal. So instead of using it against ourselves and go, oh, I'm jealous of her, or I wish I had what she had, if you just turn it on its head and just go, actually, I've got a bit of a list of things I want now, which is great, because then you can just start getting them.
Nuggets. These are nuggets of wisdom. I love them. Tash, keep them coming. God, that's another reel that you have to do that. I love it. I
Okay,
love it.
I
So
will.
good. Tell me, like, is there something that, let's get geeky. Is there something that you like, a gadget or tech, or actually maybe it's totally something else, that you are like, I need this. I couldn't do what I do without this. Like, this saves me time.
I love a bit of Pinterest.
Oh yeah, me too.
Use it for everything.
Yes.
Because it's a good starting point. I mean, my boys are fed up with me telling them, because boys are a bit one and done. Well, my boys are. They're like, oh, I don't want to do a plan and then implement it. That's doing it twice. But Pinterest is I love it, because, I mean, I even had a Pinterest board for my front door, because I didn't know about front doors. And then I started to see what I like about some front doors and what I don't like. Bloody love my front door now. But, and even about, if I'm getting a different hairstyle, I kind of want to see people of my age and what suits them. And I think, I wonder if I could look like that, And the other thing is Canva. It makes everything so easy. Like all their templates.
Yeah.
That you do for. I mean, as a brand designer, I had I'd had the whole Adobe Photoshop suite, and I still use that for some things, but Canva is far and away for presentations. I didn't even have to do. I did it was just like a keynote presentation. You saw it, didn't you?
Yeah, it was great.
And I did the whole thing through Canva. Because it doesn't. What I do love about a template from Canva is it's not completely blank. Because otherwise, then you think, what would I put in there? Whereas when they give examples, you think, oh yes, super easy, cut and drop, cut and paste. Love it.
Yeah.
They're my go-to.
We're aligned. We're so aligned. Oh, God, I love Pinterest so much. Okay, what would you tell yourself? Second last question. Maybe third last. What would you tell yourself if you had to go back to the beginning? Like, what would you be like? Oh, this is the advice I'm gonna give myself now.
Keep going. I think that's the big one. And if you are going to jump ship or change direction, I think it would be really good, if I'd done this more, to check in. Is this a confidence thing? Would I still jump ship if what I'm doing right now couldn't fail?
That's a really good question.
Because once you've answered, and your brain will, whatever comes to you first is your subconscious answer and is the right answer. Because the other thing is, people say, oh, I just need to think on it. Usually if it's something you already know the answer, and by thinking on it, what you're saying to your brain is, offer me some other reasons why not to do it. Your brain's designed to go, let's go back to the cave and watch Netflix. It's still too much out of the comfort zone. Let's not do this. Yeah. So I think if you think you couldn't, and something I used to, starting point with my branding clients, but I actually do it with my coaching clients as well now, was if your product or service was magic, what would it do? And like, give me all the daft answers. What would it do? Good. And then they kind of start thinking, well, if it was magic, I could do anything. Well, it would, create the happiest client for the rest of time. Okay, cool. like list all the things down, and then you've almost got a bit of a template for your client, or to deliver the best service or whatever, or like the best next best tagline. Like if you go, well, if it was magic, it would do this. And then you think, oh, I wonder if it could do that.
Yes, so true. Beautiful. Such great advice. Thank you. And tell me, what is your dream for the next year?
Well, I am going to get into doing webinars.
Good.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's something new that's happening because I'm going to be putting together a group program. What I
Yay.
love
Great.
is I love working one-on-one with my clients, but there is only one of me.
Yeah.
And so that means there's less people I can serve. The
Yeah.
other thing is I love the thought that if there was some kind of platform or portal I could go to when they were in the middle of crisis at work, maybe just before a really difficult meeting or just before an appraisal, love the fact that they could come into my platform and get a bit like an ATM, get their mindset from the ATM. Like, what things do I need to remember when I go in?
Yeah.
And they might only need to look at past group coaching calls, or I might have I'm still like thinking this out loud, but
That's okay.
like there might be different 60-second nuggets in the container for them to go, no, that's the one I want. I'm going to talk about money with the boss,
Yeah.
or this client has ignored the 4th invoice I've sent them. I need to have this conversation with them, and then they can go, oh, she's done a video on that. And it's something that's buildable, but also really accessible. So somebody could literally, the other side of the world while I'm asleep, go to the Mindset ATM and get some mindset.
Brilliant. Oh, it's great. I think you have your name there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, love it. Love it. Oh, love it. I want to hear more about it. So tell me and I will put this in the link to the videos wherever it appears in the show notes. Where can people reach you? How can people work with you?
At the moment, they can. I think the easiest thing is in LinkedIn, Tash Smith Ferrell, and you can send me a message. But if you're a coach and you want to sell me your coaching services, I already have a coach for lots of different things. Elaine's my marketing coach. I do have other coaches, so I wish you. This is said with all the love in the world. But please don't ask me to marry you on the first date or even before the first date. I help people who look as rubbish as you. I don't pitch me. But other than that, I would love to connect with you anyway. You can come and say hi.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. Or I'll say it for her. TashTheMindsetCoach.com. Super, super, super. And book a call and get clarity and get that mindset sorted. It's been a pleasure talking to you today. Thank you
Thank you
so
so much for
much
having me.
for coming on live and sharing your story. I've really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.